Hi, and welcome to another episode of Startup Success Strategies. And I'm Tony Chaudhary, the CEO and founder of the Startup Success Strategies program, and also the Be Your Best Self Ever personal development program. I am really thrilled today to introduce you to Stephanie Santeliz. She is actually my student from the Startup Success Strategies program, and she is such a phenomenal woman. I wanted to really showcase her story and talk about, how she started her business in less than 3 months. Because normally the Startup Success Strategies program, it's a 6-month program, but I help entrepreneurs launch in about 5 months. But she just went ahead and she launched in about 12 weeks of being in the program. So let's hear about what Stephanie's story is, because it's a fantastic story, and I will let her do all the talking. So Stephanie, I am so excited that you decided to hop on this interview and allow me to ask you a few questions, because you have done phenomenally. The first time I met you was at the conference where you were speaking about nutrition.
Yes.
And I had approached you and we had a chat afterwards, and then you decided to come join me in my Success Strategies program. And you have... my program is actually 6 months, but you launched in 3 months. What's the secret?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm always like that. I don't know why I'm always hurried to do things. I believe it's because I was feeling it. I actually needed to do something. Unfortunately, because of the situation of my country, pushed me to do it faster. And I actually think that whenever I'm struggling, whenever I feel negative emotions, and I decided to do something about it, that's when my greatest ideas come to life. That's how I started my business. That's how I actually decided that I wanted to do something meaningful for the society, but I just didn't know what to do, right? Like, we don't have a book where it says, okay, this is your great business idea. So I just started looking around because in my previous job, I had a difficult situation and I just decided to start looking. And now with all what was happening in my country, again, I was feeling sad and I didn't let those emotions to come around and stay longer. So I decided I could help them doing whatever I want to do and how I can improve their life, even if I'm here.
So when you say your country, so you're from Venezuela?
Yes, I'm from Venezuela, exactly. And unfortunately, there is a really bad situation going on right now. And a lot of Venezuelans are living abroad, and we can all help our country, even if we're apart from them.
Yeah, and English is not even your first language. It's probably not your second language.
It's my second language, and I also speak French. So if you notice a little accent there, that's because I speak 3 languages at the same time. When you have a motivation, you don't really care about your obstacles, but you are stronger than them.
Let's hear about your big business idea. So what was the big idea behind your business, and what is your business?
Okay. So my motivation is always helping people. And because I was raised in a vegetarian family, nutrition was always important for me. And I had a background in business, but I had no idea how to run a business. So what I want to do with my business is to create an awareness of how important nutrition is for our health. How can a good choice of what you're eating can change your quality of life, and somehow that's gonna completely change the health of humanity. If we all knew how to eat better, we wouldn't have all the sickness that we have, all the problems that we're having in the society. So just creating that awareness about how to introduce right food into your body That's what it's more important to me, and that's what this is all about. So because I was raised in a vegetarian family, I decided to go with that for my business, to share the knowledge. And especially with all the social media that we have right now, we have tons of misinformation. People doesn't even know what to believe. And we just need to go back to the source and say, okay, you know what? Eat more veggies and fruits. That's the main point of it. And I'm just giving people idea how to have more recipes, how to combine the food, and understand that their health it's in their hand.
To share this knowledge, so you mentioned social media, etc. So how do you plan on, sharing this knowledge? What are you doing? Cooking classes? Are you doing something, on the media, like videos and stuff like that? How are you sharing this information?
What I do is I teach private cooking classes because people need to start cooking more at home. We think that we can buy pre-cooked meals and they're going to be nutritious for us, but unfortunately, that's not the reality. People that are producing that food are doing it for the money and not for our health. So I decided to just create a menu based on what people used to eat, and then share my recipes with them. And the good part about my recipes is that are just a base, and by changing a few ingredients you can actually have a completely new recipe with new flavors, and that is gonna create in you the needs of and that to be more creative in the kitchen. And I also share my recipes on my social media for those that can afford or then are not here in Montreal. They can also learn how to cook. That's the point of my business, is just to create awareness and it's making people to cook more at home.
You started the coaching program with me. You had a lot of struggles, and can you maybe speak to those so that, again, people that are starting their businesses or have ideas and are afraid to start, so that they know it's normal, it's very, very natural that people have fears or struggles, etc. Can you maybe speak about those struggles that you had or challenges?
Yes, well, I have a full-time job. So that was a big issue for me because I had to find time to just work on my business. And what normal people do is that they just go and work their 8 to 9 hours and then go back home stressed or like completely tired. And I understand because I've been there. Completely tired with rent, and when you have no energy, but when you have a motivation, when you know that you are working for something greater than yourself, then you find the energy, you find the time. So that was one of the first things. The second thing is that I believe that because I was an immigrant, I didn't have the contacts, I didn't have the opportunities to have a business. But that doesn't happen. Like when you start talking to people about what you're doing, what your ideas are, people are willing to help. And I'm very surprised. And I said, because I was always afraid of what people would say about me, and they will judge me and say, oh, you're crazy. You cannot do that. You're supposed to be here just working and that's it. But no, people are willing to help and they will help you. Not everybody, but you will find people that can give you ideas, can put you in touch with somebody else that can help you with your business. So yes, it's just, again, inside of our mind. Yes, we have fears, but when we decide to go further, eliminate or avoid those negative thoughts and do what you think and you should do, and what makes you happy, when you feel proud of what you're doing, there is no obstacles, not immigrants, no language, no lack of time. They are there. They're just waiting for us, the opportunities.
I remember when we spoke first, you had a lot of fears, right? And one of the promises I'd made to you was that you would become fearless.
Yes.
And how does that feel now?
Whoa, well, I have done incredible things in the past 3 months that I never dreamed of. Yes, I was very afraid of asking people for things, like just by talking to them, approaching to them. Um, it was very hard for me. And now, in the past 3 months, I just approached people that I don't even know, and they are willing to help me with my business. Somehow, I believe in energy, and the universe is helping me to do what I want and to achieve my dreams.
And so you would say that mindset plays a big part in being a business owner. Is that right? Because when you started, you didn't have that mindset, but you grew that, with all the exercises we did, etc. So do you agree with that?
Yes, definitely. We tend to be very negative to ourselves. We are our first obstacle. But being aware of that makes you realize when you're having negative thoughts. And when you know that, you can stop them and just continue your life. So having a routine, having discipline, it's very important to achieve every single goal, every single dream that you want to in your life.
I know, Stephanie, that you are a person that has a ton of different ideas. And I know even on our last call, I said that, it's time to put everything into action because, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, that's the biggest thing. We have ideas, right? So how would you say, because again, it brings me back to the phenomenal thing about you just going out there and launching your business with a fundraiser. In fact, that was one of our ideas when we spoke first. And I really believe that fundraising can do a lot of good things, and it actually did a lot of good things for your business as well as far as exposure is concerned. And you received phenomenal support. You raised a lot of money. So maybe you can talk about how that experience was for you, like doing something for your country and also helping people, with their lifestyle.
Yes, again, the situation is pretty bad. So every day I was reading in the news and I was affected by everything that was happening there. And the fact that I somehow couldn't help them, right? I just could help my family. And there was a point that I was feeling sad and not depressed because I didn't allow myself to go to that part, but yeah, just sad. And I don't like to feel like that. And when you know how happiness could feel and how you know your true self and when you're good, so you try to keep yourself in that um, feeling the most you can. So I said I have to go back there. And what are the things that I like to do? It's cooking, teaching, and that's who I am. That's what I like to do. And I have to use that knowledge. I have to use my qualities, my abilities for a good purpose, for a good reason. And just I had the idea, like it was just a click, and when it clicks, and I felt so emotional about it. I felt so good about having this and actually doing something for my country. Even though I'm a regular person, I live tons of miles away from them, I still can do something, and a lot of people can do. So I just had the idea, contacted people where I knew they could help me, and somehow the ball can started rolling. So it was great to me, and I actually planned it in 2 weeks. I know it's very fast. Most people will take months to plan something like that, but the most important thing is to do something. And when you have an idea, just follow it. If you're gonna do it wrong, then you will learn. But we are afraid of failure. But if we decide to put that aside, great things could happen. And that's what happened to me. I just contacted the people, made a plan, and of course, with all your help, giving me tons of ideas of how I had to do it. Because, right, I just had the idea, but I didn't know how to proceed. Again, there is no book. And of course, we can kind of follow our heart, but with your help, with the several steps that you told me, and help me to accomplish. That's how I did it.
It was actually my honor that I could help you. First of all, we could do something together, put your brain and my brain together, and and all your hard work, obviously, because I just gave you ideas, which is like nothing, right? And you had to execute it. But the fact that it came to something really good, not just a business, okay, but the fact that it actually helped raise money for a cause, right? That is fantastic. And most people don't even think about it. But I think that, doing fundraisers for your business, not only it gives you, a motivation to do something bigger than yourself, but it also helps the cause, right? So it's a win-win situation, right? And yeah, for sure. But talking about, you spoke about fear again, fear of failure, etc. If you were to give one piece of advice to anybody that's wanting to start up, they have ideas, but they're just sitting there because they're so paralyzed by their fears, okay, what would you say to them?
Okay, what I usually do is I dream big most of the time. I have the idea, great. And then I come back to the present. And what are the minimum steps that can get me closer? That's very important because we all can do small things that can get us closer to those ideas.
Absolutely.
So write down your idea and then let's say put it at a time and come back to the present. Okay, I know where I want to be and I'm here now. What is separating me from there? And you will find a small step. And then when you go there, the path will be shown to you somehow. You don't need to know all the steps that you are to follow, but just doing one thing at the time and then next thing, and then you're gonna get more ideas and improve in the time. And if something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that you wasted your time. It means that you are learning. You are a completely different person. I can say I feel completely different from when I started. Like just the fact that I'm proud of speaking about my business. I didn't. Yes, we all want to be entrepreneurs and we all want to have a business, but when you actually do it and do something for other people, when other people realize the value that you're offering them, that has no explanation and has no words to explain how will you feel about it.
Beautifully put. I really love that. Now it's all about online marketing. It's about technology. It's about social media, etc. And you had that as a challenge as well, because even though you did have some marketing knowledge, but you really didn't, have a lot of ideas that you could use in a digital world. And a lot of people will say, oh, I don't know how to do social media. I don't know online marketing, etc. Can you speak to those people? Because now you are doing a lot of social media. You've even, built yourself a website and everything. You've created your web presence, so to speak. So maybe can you speak to those people that are afraid of venturing out into this world?
Yes, definitely. That was a huge challenge for me because I was just posting whatever I was posting on Facebook, my personal life. But now for business, I had to learn how to take pictures and how to write down all the material. Yes, it's difficult, but it's doable. When you want to do it, you just do it and you learn. I can't say that I have the most amazing pictures, but they are really nice. And I'm proud of all the pictures that I'm taking. I'm learning all the tricks. And of course, Tony, you helped me a lot of thinking about those things. It's because I had ideas, right? Like I studied marketing in university, but that doesn't mean that in real life I know how to apply all that.
Yes.
And I remember in our conversation, I was telling you that I didn't know like a blog and how difficult it could be. But again, it's all about the process and we are learning when we're doing it.
We are learning every day and we will continue learning every day of our lives.
Yes, exactly. And it's actually exciting because when you start understanding the technology, how it works and how you can use it for a greatest purpose instead of just showing your life, I mean, it's not bad showing your life, but you can also use it for a greatest purpose.
Yep.
It's amazing because you will learn those tools and you will help people by sharing whatever you want to share, your ideas, and just improving people's life.
So there's one last thing I do want to talk about, and that is when you decided to do the coaching program with me. Coaching isn't inexpensive. Okay. A lot of people don't understand that it's better when you're starting a business to have someone help you, because we all think, and I was guilty of the same thing this is my third business, right? So for my first business, when I was teaching cooking, I just started because someone challenged me about how to make a curry, right? And being Indian, I took that as a dare. Okay. Then the second business started when I love taking pictures, and everyone told me, oh, you're a great photographer. Why don't you should be charging people and blah, blah, blah. And that's how I started. I had no clue what business was all about, but I was going to shut down, and I've told you the story. But then I found my business mentor, and that changed my life and my business completely. And would you say from your own experience that this is a big thing? Mentorship is a big thing when people have an idea and they want to do something? They want to go somewhere?
Yes, definitely. Because I had no clue. Like when I started, I just had the idea, but I didn't know how to implement. I didn't even know where to start. I had, like you mentioned, I'm a person of tons of ideas all the time. It can be overwhelming. Because you're thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. Then, okay, well, I can do this. Or then, I can do this as well. So it's at some point, I had to tell to myself, I had to say, okay, no, let's stop and do something. And then when you approached me, I remember I told you, I wish I've won the prize, because I really need this. I really need to know the next step. I always mention, there is no book. You can have the ideas, but there is no book on how to be an entrepreneur. And yes, I studied administration and business, but for corporations, I was just a startup. I didn't know where to begin, where to look for my customers, anything. So with all your help, with your program, step by step, it's not gonna create your business, but definitely it's a guide that it's completely necessary, because again, being entrepreneur could be overwhelming, but having someone on your back saying, okay, you can do this and let's do this together, it's very important. Like, it's kind of having your a second mind helping you in your business.
Yeah, I feel way too many people are afraid to, first of all, to start their businesses. Even with great ideas, they just remain ideas and they never do anything about it. And like you spoke a little bit earlier, you said, no matter how much you say you don't have the time or a lack of energy or motivation, whatever, if you have a great idea and you become, so invested in a bigger cause, something that's bigger than yourself, you will definitely take action. And action, it's all about action. And you have a degree in business, right? But you've also worked in areas where you had to do things yourself. You also manage stuff at work. But yes, it's an entirely different thing to manage someone else's business and to create your own business. So I love what you said. And to all the people out there, if you are, if you're hesitating about starting your business, we only live once, and we have dreams which we definitely should try to fulfill to the best of our abilities, because not only do we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to the universe. Because if you want to start a business, it means you have a message that you want to put out there to the rest of the world. So why keep it within yourself, right? So Stephanie, I absolutely am so honored that I could help you start your business. And we still have a little bit of the program left, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do next, because I know you have this huge idea, and I just can't wait to celebrate with you when you launch your business in a few weeks. officially launch it because you've launched it already with the fundraiser that you did. So any parting words, any inspirational things that you might want to say to all those entrepreneurs in their minds who are afraid to fly?
Yes, I would say to those people that it's your obligation. You need to work on those ideas that you have. Like you mentioned, Tony, we only live once, we all have dreams, and there is no better thing in life than working and doing what you love with all your passion. That is what the world needs. We don't need people that just go to 8 to 9 job and are miserable. You need to love what you're doing, and just doing that, it's gonna change the world.
Thank you, Stephanie. That was a beautiful message. And everybody, Stephanie's social media handles will be all there. You can see them coming up. And make sure you follow her. This girl is, a powerhouse, and she has so many ideas, and she does like fantastic. She makes these fantastic recipes. They look so delicious. Unfortunately, I don't live by close to her, so I can't go and try them. But you must absolutely follow her work, and definitely follow my social media handles are there as well. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I cannot tell you how happy I'd be to help you out, because one of my missions in 2017 is to touch at least 100 lives this year, to help people, with their businesses, with their careers, with their, family life, whatever it is. Please reach out to me, and I would definitely love to connect with you. All right, Stephanie, thanks again, and I will see you again. And everybody, bye for now, and stay focused on your success.